butter. Elevated.
So the first thing I do is I go onto Leafly and I look up the variety that I'm going to be using. And this particular one is at 17%. So next you go to this website right here. You put in the number that you got from Leafly, which is 17%. I am personally working with 47 grams of broccoli. Did I decarb? Yes, I did. Plant-based. I will be using butter today. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 1 here for 1 cup. That's 2 sticks of butter. Now if you come down here, you see that most of my recipes call for tablespoons of butter. So I change that to tablespoons and I say, okay, I'm going to have 348 hippie calories per tablespoon. I can work with that, but let's say I wanted it stronger. I would come up here to how much butter am I infusing, and I would say 0.5. So that is half a cup is 1 stick. Look, your grand total number stays the same because the amount of flour you're using is the same. But what's not the same is your total number of hippie calories here for 1 tablespoon. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I am going to go ahead, I'm taking it back because I am going to be using 1 cup or 2 sticks of butter today because I like this number better. So I'm going to write that down, but before I'm off this page, come down here, change things to a gram. So if you need to weigh it out, each gram is about 26 hippie calories. Now change it to teaspoon. Each teaspoon is going to be 116 hippie calories. Now you don't have to go and type anything back in after the fact. You've got it all written down. You keep that with your butter. You don't have to do it again. So the point of clarifying your butter first is to remove any milk solids or water that are in the butter. The reason that you want to do that is because milk solids are what burns whenever you are making something, so it's got a pretty low smoke point. If you've ever worked with butter, it burns really easily. Well, that's the milk solids that are doing that. So also what this does is if there is any moisture that is in this, moisture in butter is what causes it to spoil, and so we don't want that. We want to be able to keep this a long time. So that is why we are going to clarify this butter. Butter that has been clarified will stay good in the fridge for a year. There we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually wanting to get 1 cup of clarified butter, but part of this is going to be milk solids. So I am going to go ahead and I'm doing 3 sticks of butter right now, and then once it is clarified, I will pull 1 cup of clarified butter out, and that's what I will use. So that took about 5 minutes to get all of the butter melted. So now what I'm gonna let it do is just boil on low for 15 minutes, and I'll be back. Okay, 15 minutes have passed. I think that my stove was a little bit too warm, even though I had it on low. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to now pour that butter into a glass measuring cup. And I don't want any of this shit. I'm gonna wait about an hour. You're gonna have some stuff that's going to rise to the top, and then you're gonna have some stuff that's gonna settle to the bottom. We're gonna scoop off the top stuff when it's done, leave this stuff, the bad stuff on the bottom, and the rest of it's clarified butter. Or possibly ghee for me, because I got it a little bit too dark, but it is what it is. You can scrape any of this crap off the top really at any time. You can see the little pieces falling to the bottom. So that's why we need to wait an hour. Okay, this was the one that I put all of the clarified butter in. I waited until all of the solids fell to the bottom. Then I poured 1 cup into this. So now I have 1 cup of beautifully clarified butter. I'm going to put that into this crock pot. So this is one of those small crock pots. I got it at a thrift store. It's like the size of my head. So it's not the really tiny ones, but it's like a middle-sized one. All right. Now I'm going to put in 47 grams of broccoli. Now I'm going to put in 1 or 2 cups of water. I'm going to stir it around. Turn it on, let it go. So here it is. It's been going for 3 hours because I kind of forgot it. Normally, I put it in a bag and this, but I feel pretty confident that this is going to hold it. We'll see. Because I usually make more, I usually have more greenery in it, so this is kind of a small batch. Here we go. So here you can see it separating out. We've got butter on the top, and then we've got like black water down here in the bottom. I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator, and this will turn into a solid disc that I can remove. So I left it in the fridge overnight. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get myself a little spot where I can pick this up. Get it out of here. There we go. Just pushed it. All right, there's my disc of butter. And look, there's the water. That's gross. And now you're not going to get that flavor in your butter. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just breaking it up, and I'm going to put it back into this crock pot because there is still some water in this. That will make it spoil, just like we talked about at the beginning. So I'm going to put it into the crock pot. Going to let it simmer, melt down, simmer until that water is gone. I've never actually finished it in the crock pot before. If for some reason it doesn't work, I will be honest. I let this go for 2 hours in the crock pot because I think I honestly like it better on the stovetop. I can tell within about 5 minutes if the water is gone. With this, I don't really know, but I don't figure it hurt anything to have it sit there. So, all right, I'm gonna pour it into my butter molds. So then put this in the fridge. And here it is, green butter. I put it in here, in the mold, put the lid on it, it stays in the refrigerator, and I use it when I need it.